Good morning and welcome to On the Couch, where you get vital content to when we're serving our Black and Brown community. Good morning. It is May 18th. Joining us again from 2 weeks ago. I hope you all are doing well. And as we go on with our topic today, what is the purpose of a friend? I'm curious too. What is the purpose of a friend? Why do we have them? Do we really need them? There are 5 stages of friendship that we're going to talk about. But prior to that, let's go ahead and pull my girlfriends in so we can have, continue our chat. See, we was offline talking about things that y'all will relate to, like going to the dentist. So we're going to continue that conversation this morning, and then we're going to go into our topic. But here we go. Rajanta, Michelle, and Toya. I'm bringing y'all all in, girls. How y'all doing this morning? And we need to continue our conversation.
Oh no, we're not continuing that conversation. Y'all ain't gonna be laughing at me. Good morning.
well, you know what? You can laugh at me. I know exactly what you're talking about because I had the root canal. And can I tell you, I was like, what is happening here? Yes, the drill. I do not, drill and I do not get along. Okay. I am allergic to drills, but hey, who is it? But the dentist is the worst place I want to go to. I'm going to be honest here. I don't like it. I don't want to be there. I don't want to hear the drilling. No.
Yes.
See, I don't have a problem with the dentist. I don't have a problem with the dentist. Never had a problem. But I just needed him this day to fix it. I didn't have a problem until I turned the selfie on and I said, "Oh, I'm not leaving here looking like that." Fix it.
Find the right
Fix
dentist.
it.
You got to find the right dentist. Some dentists are not gentle, and I do know that insurance
That's
plays a
true.
part. Insurance plays a major part in what you can and what you cannot, who accepts what, and what they're gonna do for you when you get there.
Yeah.
Walk around with caps, at 50 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Tell me
That's
about
true.
it. I had a
Yes.
But it's one of those expenses that in my head I'm like, I don't know what it's gonna cost, but I don't care what it's gonna cost. I gotta get it fixed. So
What you was getting ready to say, Toya? You had
Yeah,
what?
definitely. When I had that good state insurance, I had $8,000 on one tooth. I said, well, wait a minute. Well, let's take it out and put a cap. Or what about a bridge? I said, well, wait a minute. You just did all this work, gave me an epicoectomy and took my nerves out and did all this, put bone graft, and you tell me you want to put more? I said, no. Just give me a flipper. I'll pay it out. I'll pay it out of my pocket. You see how it is when you got that good insurance, they want to just take everything out.
Now, what's the flipper?
Yeah.
What's the
A
flipper?
flipper is basically like, how a person has a denture, you just pop
Okay.
it in there. So what they
alright.
wanted to do was to give me a bridge, shade the tooth in front of it and back of it. I said no. And you can't even tell that I don't have a tooth here, but when I'm going somewhere, I'll just pop it in.
That's right.
But they make you pay for that.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's
think
different.
about it. Then that's 3 teeth that I have to come back if it don't work.
Wow.
So just
Yeah. That is so true. Listen, I don't know. I just know for me, dentists, no, I can't. And then I know we were talking about aging too. Listen, I know we're aging gracefully, but gee whiz, Shell, like you said, why did nobody prepare us? What
yeah,
happened? What
it don't
is
feel
it?
good. It does not feel good.
It does not feel good. Your bones cracking, you can't get up. You're like, Lord have mercy, just let me just get up. Just let me get up the stairs, please.
Look, your mind ain't right either.
It does go as you get older, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's what I tell my sisters. Like, can you help me with? Nope. I'm trying to help myself. I can't help with
Okay,
nothing. Nobody else.
okay. You go into one room. I know I do it. I'm not going to speak for the rest of you. I'm standing in the middle of the room saying, what the hell am I doing in this living room? What am I in here for? I got to go back where I came from to remember why I was in there.
Sometimes when you get back, you still don't remember.
Why would somebody do this to us? Why would
It's not good.
but we all got to get older. We got no choice. We have no
Mm-hmm.
control over the matter. This is one thing we don't have control over is
Not
getting
at all.
older. But what I will say to us, get older gracefully. Age is nothing but a number. it is truly how you feel, but as you take care of yourself, there are people that live well into their 80s and 90s these days. It's just that you got to go take care of yourself. Go to the doctor when you see that something is not right. Go to the doctor. I happened to be on Facebook the other day, and it was a young mom. I think she was like 32 years old, and she went to the doctors, and it was past the stage. Like, she was in stage 3 cancer in her brain, though. So
Wow.
they told her like she only has 6 months to live, and she said she was afraid to go to the doctors. So listen, I beg you all, I know that we have in the back of our mind that, are they going to experiment on me? Are they going to give me the right care? I know you all feel that way. And I'm talking about our Black and brown community.
Yeah.
We know that y'all feel that way, but please go yearly, because you don't know what's happening internal. See, on the outside, you can see that. You know what I mean? You can see a cut, you can see a swelling, you can see that. But inside is where you got to figure out what's really going on with me. Okay, so I implore you all, go to the doctors. And it's unfortunate because that young lady said she'll be leaving 5 of her children behind along with her husband, because the fear of not going to the doctor.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be us.
Something.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna share something with you guys. As far as my health, April, you know my story: 21 surgeries in 10 years, and I'm just gonna just share this. I will be 47 this year. I had a growth, a tumor just came out of nowhere that grew in 90 days. Now, mind you, I had a surgery where they did robotics, so they're thinking that part of that tissue went into my abdomen. So from there, they went to rule out a condition called fibromatosis and Gardner syndrome. So from there, they found I had 4 precancerous polyps. They were all flat. So think about it. Now this year is 3 years later. Thank you, God, that I'm still here. So now when I'm telling you the internal stuff, it's where it was something that from there I spoke to my dad. Oh, I had those. Since my mother died, I did not know her history. So what I'm explaining to you, men don't go and get checked. So at this point in time, as you know, they're changing the age for colonoscopy. It was 50. I lost a family member at 49. You have to think, if I would have never have gone, would I have been here? So people look at me, you're losing weight, honey. I have all these things internally that I do not share, but I'm willing to talk about it if we want to open the platform of the hidden diseases. So now I'm still walking and talking, but unfortunately I have 7 pills I take every day. So thank you, April, for sharing that. The internal colonoscopies, endoscopies, hypertension. I lost my brother at 24, heart attack. Okay, basically. So, as far as that, again, correction on that, 26 for my brother, 10 years, and he's the baby. So thank you for opening that topic. Some yearly screenings.
Yeah, make sure you do that. Your yearly screening. Come on, we're telling you, take care of yourselves, because we got one body, one life. We don't get a turnaround, or we put a quarter in the machine and say, oh, we're back. No, it doesn't work that way. So while we're here, let's take care of ourselves, grow, and get older gracefully, and prepare our young ones behind us too, and just let them know, look, as you age, these are the things that could possibly happen, especially if they're in your family. So that's our spiel on that. So we are going to shift topics now. I'm excited about this topic because we actually got this topic, Rajanta, from one of our OTC followers, right? It was in the comment about what is the purpose of a friend? Are they there to use us, or are they there for real friendship? So we are actually going to talk about this topic today. I'm curious to know, ladies, what's the definition of a friend to you?
Okay, for me, the things that I experience from my friends is support, unconditional support. Because I'm a mess at times. So just to be someone who's like very compassionate, who is there for me unconditional, and just to recognize when I'm not well or I'm not feeling my best, and to really just pick me up, and also me being able to reciprocate that as a friend. Because it kind of takes 2 to tangle. So being a friend and being able to receive that friendship as well. For me, that's what friendship is.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. All right. Friendship for me, similar. I do agree with all of those, what you're stating too. I also think friendship is an experience because you move through people. What do I mean by moving through people? Is who you're talking to, how your energy is exchanged with this person, and you can also see if this person is truly meant to be in your life. Because to me, if it's a friendship that's going to last a lifetime, you'll know. You'll feel it. You'll know about it. The experiences together may be balanced. Sometimes it's not, but that's when you know how much do I want to invest in this person. So I do feel that it's an investment.
Yes, and I concur with all of you. And I think at times, for myself, I'm different. When you are raised by other people, you look at things differently. When you're asked to move into an environment, it's all new. What do I do? So at times when you see someone that's coming with you in open arms, you're like, oh, wow, they want to be my friend. And as with the topic, you already explained it, Dr. Diamond, what we're going to get into today. And sometimes that lens can be wrong. Sometimes it could be that maybe they want to get to know you for a reason, for a motive. And I never thought about it like that. All I know is I love hard with friends. So the purpose of here is that as an only child for my mom, I wanted extensions. I wanted sisters, playing with Barbie dolls, or you're around folks that are older. So then that would maybe a 9 to 10 year age gap. You understand? So from there, you're looking for something. And if you're around older people, they come up and they're genuine from the bat. However, when you're in your age group, it's different. But we always got to look at the family of origin. And as one of the comments was, maybe someone doesn't know how to be a friend. But I'm a friend that will have a difficult conversation. And what I've learned now, if a person doesn't want to mend the friendship, were you really my friend anyway? If I ask, let's talk about it. Oh, I'm busy. So that's something weird. It's an investment. And I think that sometimes we think investment equates into financing. Do we invest in each other? 1 + 1 is 2. 1 - 1 is 0. And I feel now sometimes I'm actually looking at it. If I'm always giving and never getting back, is this a genuine friend? What I have to meditate and pray on.
I agree with all your entire statement. Now, there are 5 stages of friendship. Do you all know that? Because if you don't, we are going to go through it. So, I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was 5 stages of friendship at all. But now when I pulled the information up, I was like, wow, this is quite interesting to know that there are 5 stages. So it went from 5 to 1. Okay. So the first one is a stranger. Okay. So a stranger, as it states, strangers are people you begin to share information with on a superficial level. This might be someone you greet in the hallway at work or school. A stranger might be someone who makes eye contact with you on the bus, or someone who has been introduced to you for the first time by another person. So that is a stranger. This is someone you have no investment in. You don't know this person. So they're a stranger. They don't know you. You don't know them. So I guess everyone knows a stranger, right? Stranger danger.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. All right. Things strangers might do. Attend activities and events together, such as volunteer work. Agree to meet up at the gym or movie. Meet at a coffee shop to get to know each other better. Meet to engage in a sport like running, kayaking, skateboarding, etc., etc. So that's what you do with a stranger because you're trying to get to know this person. It's a stranger to you. It's a little bit of an echo in the background because I hear some. I don't know if it's feedback or somebody playing something. Just be mindful because it's coming through too. Casual acquaintances. So what do you think about casual acquaintances? What is that? So what it's saying is number 4. This person or persons, you still do not know each other well enough to share personal information. If it feels comfortable or right, you might ease into sharing some feelings and thoughts, but only positive ones about non-controversial topics. So again, this is a person that you consider an acquaintance.
Yes.
Right? How many of us have acquaintances? We probably got a few of those. Probably more than we anticipate, right?
You know what,
Of
Dr.
course.
Diamond, I've been in every phase of that. Every phase that you're talking about, I have been in every phase of that, both sides. But I also wanted to say that sometimes, you know, just being in that stranger. I mean, I talk to people in the grocery store, you know. My sister hates it. Like, I talk to people, you know, but I also have to understand that some people have different limitations that kind of prevents them from being able to be comfortable in that space. Like, you know, the social anxieties. I run across a lot of grown-ups now who are autistic as well in neurodivergent. So that kind of puts them in a space where they don't feel comfortable kind of being in that space. Even though they may want that friendship, they don't feel comfortable and don't even know how to start and how to get there.
Yes. I agree with that. I also know that there are people who are socially awkward. So they don't know how to build friendships. You know what that comes from? Sometimes it comes from being too sheltered. Like when they go out in the community, they don't know how to build a relationship because they were always either in the home, sheltered. You know, the parents are so afraid to let them go that the sheltering this person now boomerangs into this other type of person as the adult, which is an awkward person to make social connection. Okay.
That's crazy. That's crazy because, you know, back in the day, we were sheltered. My mom, I was about 8, 9 years old. I was in the house.
Me too.
Me too.
Wait, my mom was different. But when I moved to my grandmother's house, woo, I couldn't go nowhere. My brother now, he can hit the streets. Okay.
I don't know why is it that boys get to have more freedom. I have a son, and I said to my mom, I said, well, wait a minute, what you let him do, you were strict. You can't get off the porch. You can't do this. And then I had to think, I have to follow the rules because on my calendar, I've had a calendar for years. I got in a party that I want to go to. If I get on punishment, I can't go. So I guess I'm going to have to just decline that. Okay.
Right.
Yes. So when you come out and out into the world, people are talking to you, they gravitate to you, but then they want to know, well, what does she have that I don't have? So now definitely, April, you just opened my horizons about that. So I'm a little socially awkward, I would say, because I'm an empath and I feel people's energy. So that made me a little nervous. So then, of course, I started working in the field. I said, okay, then now you just gave me a name for it. I'm a little socially awkward, but I love on people. And sometimes I feel I love on the wrong ones. And then I become a target. So yeah, keep on going, my sister.
Woo, you love on the wrong ones. We're going to come back to that. Hold that thought. Don't let it go away because that is something we're going to come back to when we circle back around. So being sheltered, as we talked about, socially awkward. You are going to be awkward when it comes to going out to build these relationships. So you start out, like Rajanta said, stranger. Everybody's a stranger to you. It doesn't matter because you're socially awkward. You're afraid. There's fear. You don't know. How do you even move from stranger to acquaintance? You don't know that. You have no idea. This is why being socially awkward is something that you need to know about and how to move through that. And that's you challenging yourself to build relationship with others. That means if you feel like you fall to the background, you need to go to the front, because that's the only way you're going to challenge yourself to make that change. So I implore you to challenge yourself. If you feel like you're socially awkward, if I gave you the definition that you didn't know you were doing, you got it today. That's socially awkward, meaning that there's a possibility that you have being sheltered or overly sheltered. You don't have the connection with other people. You haven't built that connection at all. Antisocial. What's antisocial?
Yeah. Just not being able to function around others. You know, some people who don't even like crowds, right? They get, worked up and can't be around a bunch of people for some reason.
Can these people build friendships?
I mean, I guess everybody's different.
Well, we need to talk. I don't want to get clinical here, but those are the ones that sit on our couches. And then that's how we get that information, correct or not correct? That's what you have seen. Right. So when someone is assigned to say, okay, you need some therapy. Then they come into your office, and then they're guarded. You're doing the biopsychosocial assessment, and those are the ones that I see that meet that category. So now the whole point here is we need to add those things so they can work on, and I don't want to be clinical, Jahari's window, which we want to know and let the viewers know. When you go and you talk to someone, there's something that they know within oneself. Then there's something as us as a professional looking at them, right? Then there are things that we're going to work on to help them bring it. And then all the way to the far bottom right is the unknown. And that's the purpose of good therapy. And sometimes I don't mean to be clinical, but when I meet folks, and if they're not ready to hear and receive, that's where it comes. A good friend is going to challenge you. And I don't want to overstep. But right here, I think that's a little bit of a window, April, so you can, and everyone else can go into that little envelope right now. But that's really what it is. Okay?
Yeah. Agreed. I do agree with that. Those that are antisocial, they can build relationships, but I don't think they know how to have long-term relationships, because it's also a trust factor, not just with others, it's with themselves. So when they're antisocial, it's, can I trust myself to be around these people because I don't even trust them? That's the thought process that they're going in with. But at the end of the day, what is it that's causing you to be that way? So I just wanted to throw in antisocial so that folks know that there's a difference between socially awkward and antisocial.
And totally different. They may not trust themselves. And I also want to say to the viewers, don't go diagnosing. Don't go diagnosing yourself. Don't go on WebMD and thinking you got everything to talk about.
Right. Amen. That's right. Don't do it, because you will get mixed up with trying to figure out, is it really me? Do I really do that? You're probably not doing it. So that's why we're giving you this discussion today. What is the purpose of the friend? So as we move along, friends, that's number 3. Okay. So number 3, when they talk about friends, as you move into this circle, you begin to trust one another more. You feel secured enough when you are in the other person's company to be more spontaneous, laugh, giggle, tease, and share stories, life experience with each other. So now you move to 3. So 3 is friendship, like your friends. Number 2, they talk about deep friendships. It takes much longer to reach this stage. By this point, both of you have experienced each other closely, so for so long that you trust each other deeply. So there's your deep friendship. Last but not least is self-intimacy. This innermost circle consists of you and only you. It's healthy to keep some thoughts, ideas, hope, wishes, dreams, and feelings totally and completely to yourself. So if you notice, it was with other people from 5 to 2. And when it got to 1, it's about you. So now when you think about that, that makes a whole lot of sense. So what I'm going to move into is, what is the purpose of a friend? Through our experiences, what's the purpose of a friend?
To have a support system. You know what I mean? So? Outside of yourself. Yes, I feel for I can't speak for you all. That is, we are going to self-actualization. But the whole thing, how you said, the insecurities, all that comes in, is someone too outside of, for me, God. When I meditate, when I notice when I don't meditate, I will make decisions. But sometimes we need confirmation outside of ourselves. Because you know what we always say, you need to react. You cannot react, you need to respond. When it comes down to responding, sometimes you need a good friend that you can call and say, you know what? I'm in my head. As they say, women are very emotional. Am I being emotional right now? Am I being logical with what I'm doing? And sometimes we need to vet that. And that's where you need a village of good friends. They're going to tell you when you're wrong. And maybe when you think you're not right, to congratulate you. So that's what I feel a purpose of a friend.
Absolutely.
It's a sister. And I know I've been seeing a lot of memes that come up. It says, well, blood makes you related, but love makes you a friend, family. And I think that sometimes we all have scars, but I'm very optimistic, have always done that. But I think a lot of times with me loving on it, sometimes I give other people a grace because I want that. And I'm very spiritual. If God can do it, I know I can do it. Right. And as the Bible says, forgive them because they know not what they do. So those are the virtues and morals that we carry in our code. However, there are some times that people constantly beat you up. So then I don't know what to do with that, because I'm a love person.
Absolutely.
Love one another, as we know,
Absolutely.
right, April? But then I don't want to be the fool constantly disappointed. And then that's when it turns into people who have been hurt by friends that they're negative. And that's
Yeah.
someone that I am not. I
Yeah.
pray that out.
I think it's important that we kind of really learn to, and you know, the tribe, as you were saying, the tribe is very important. Like, I love my tribe. And you also mentioned, you know, vetting our tribe carefully. It's important who we allow in our life, and just knowing that everybody's not deserving of our time or of our space, right? But me, my tribe holds me up when I'm weak. You know, if I can't stand, they can pick me up. And these are people that I have kind of developed a relationship with over time. Some of them longer, you know, I've had for a long time. So it's just very important to just really, you know, put healthy boundaries up, in that they know they know your likes and your dislikes, so that hurt, if it comes, you know, you can kind of have that conversation. Like, listen, this is something you know about me. Why would you cross that line? You know, being that it's something that's very difficult for me. And we also are very quick to kind of give others grace, but we can't give ourselves the grace that we give others. That's something that we need to work on ourselves.
Agreed.
I agree with that. Grace will start with you first, as it should, because you are a person. No one goes into any relationship perfect. And when you're moving through all relationships, into intimate, to family relationship, to friend relationship, you have to give yourself grace that you're not going in as a perfect person. We mentioned sheltered. So if you're a sheltered person, guess what? You are going in with those behaviors of, I don't know, like, am I really sure this is what I want to do? You know, so you kind of moving through that space of unsureness, right? But then you challenge yourself, as I stated earlier. Please begin to challenge yourself, but challenge yourself with the right circle. Rajanta said it right too. And you too, Toya, vetting. When you vet your people that you're around, that means you're getting to know them, watch the dynamics between you and that person, feel their vibe. If their vibe is not what you expect it to be, and also think about yours. If you walk into a room that your vibe is off and a person refrains from you, don't get upset. It's what they're reading off of you. If you don't look open, a person is not going to come to you because that's the way you're looking.
What is
So
that by
don't.
looking open? Because this is like, what is that when you say looking open? Because you know how we kind of love. What is that when you explain open? How does that look for you? Like,
okay, so for me, when you're looking open to me, you're making eye contact with me. You may have a smile on your face. Your arm is not crossed. If I notice your arms are crossed, to me, you might be going through something. I am not sure, but your tone also plays a big role. So if I say, hey, and you go, yeah, hi, I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to go
You're
there
not
with
receiving. You don't look like you're
not
receiving.
right. You're not receiving. So I don't want to bother you, because maybe you're in a space right now that you're not welcoming new people into your life. I don't know. But I do know that we too have to be cognizant of how we come across as well. So we can't just say it's one person. I also want to piggyback off of what you said, Rajanta, too. As you're building deep and close relationships, these people know you. They begin to know you very well because you opened up enough to them that they begin to know you enough to know your likes, your dislikes, your boundaries that you set. What happens when you become upset. They kind of know how to calm you down. All of those things. That's a true investment in a friend.
Yes, and it can be turned into a trigger. And I just know that now, just going through a lot, I'm happy about life. And some of the things that I do spill, I'm happy because I got through them. So when folks see me, why is she smiling? Because you don't know what God brought me through.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm through. So I'm going to smile, and I'm going to let you know that. Look at me. Do you want me to show you the scars? I can show you every one of them. And you'll know while I'm smiling, because I'm fighting so that I don't get into a depressed state. I don't want to become the client that I serve. So that's why I smile. And when I smile, I say hello. Do you know when you're walking in, it helps somebody else feel good? And that's one of the things that I have to watch the room to see how to receive. So now I'm learning to go sit in my corner, because now that I'm sitting watching people's faces and folks that I thought were maybe fond of me are not. Because the picture says 1,000 words. So now I'm learning how to be more reserved. And as you know, April, you just accomplished something in your life that I just got the torch. And sometimes the people that show up for you are the ones you don't think are going to show up, and the ones that do, that's where your heart gets warm. And now as you go on, experience is the best teacher. And I will never be a bitter person, but just understand life. And as a professional, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so think about it. We don't know what anyone is going through. So again, I will concur with that. Reading someone when you meet them, because those folks may need a hug. And I will give the love. And maybe that'll help someone turn that frown upside down into a smile.
Okay.
Oh, so Roxy saying hello. She's standing up. This is one of my ride or die. This is one of my best friends.
How do we navigate through when we find out the people that we thought were fond of us are really not fond of us?
That's a challenge. That's a hard challenge. I struggle with that. I do.
That was going to lead into my question. So Rajanta, you asked the question in that way. So that runs into that surface friend. That's what she's talking about. Running into that type of person. This is a person to me that is not, they don't want to be in a relationship at all. It's just surface. They are at that stranger phase. They stay there. They can be quite cunning because they can appear to be like they want a deeper relationship with you. But how do you know that these people are surface? Because they only want your information. They're not giving any of theirs, or they avoid answering questions about their own self, but want to know, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make? Where do you live? So they're asking all of these things, and then you're looking like, okay, should I be saying this? But if a person is open and they want to build a relationship, sometimes this is where you don't know because you're sheltered and you don't know how to answer these people. So then you answer them because you're thinking, oh, they just want to know me. That can be the most fatal mistake that you're making, because especially because it may be a surface person you're talking to, or that person that means you no good. So I'm going to ask this follow-up question. The person that surfaced and possibly mean you no good, what behaviors do they display? Because they do. What do you think they're doing?
I think inconsistency. That's something that is definitely seen.
Unavailable. They're always unavailable. You attend their events, but they're never available for you.
Okay. Yes. I agree with that too. It's other behaviors that they display also, because it's more.
Is it standoffish as well?
Yes. They standoffish. They don't want to give you any information, or like you said, they don't want to show up for you, but they want you to show up for them. And then when you don't show up for them, who has the worst attitude?
The other person.
That surface person. Yes, because the surface person is going to call you, be like, oh, you couldn't come to my stuff? What's the problem? Why you couldn't make it? And it's like, wait a minute, what just happened here? Like, I don't even understand why you coming at my throat. Like, can I live? No. They don't want
that's
you
when
to.
The people pleasing comes. If you're sheltered, you call you. I'm like, am I people pleasing? I didn't know what that was. But when you have an upbringing of that, it's like, oh wow, I think I need to do that. Okay, I was late to the party, but I'm at the party now. April, I'm at the party now, so I get it. But that's what happens. So just for those folks, if you ever feel that you are chasing someone or you're people pleasing, that's something to assess. So then, hey, get your list. You write your list out. And sometimes we need to write things out for us to see. Because if you show up and you're not showing up, that's your validation and the boundary, right? We have to set boundaries. So now I don't care if I'm late to the party, but now I'm going to use that to assess additions. And again, it does not have to be financial. It's just really the genuine love and support. And if you feel inside and you're uneasy, then that's something that the person may be a surface friend and you don't want to believe it. But sometimes it is what it is.
you said something about people pleasing, and I'm going to talk about people pleasing. And by all means, both of you jump in on people pleasing, because I think this is a conversation that needs to be had when it comes to purpose of friendships and then what you're dealing with. People pleasing. If you are a people pleaser, please understand what people pleasing is. Is that you are not willing to ruffle any feathers. You're going to stay in between, and you're going to say yes, yes, yes to that person and or people, because you don't want someone to see you as, I don't want them looking at me like I'm bad. No,
or you're
you
difficult.
have,
Or you're difficult.
yes,
I get I'm difficult. Yes. But I
yes,
always have a rationale.
yes. But the thing is, you have to have a voice in any space that you're in. You can't always agree to get with the get along gang, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. The same gang you getting along with is the same ones that are gonna stab you up. Same ones. And I'm gonna say that because that's exactly what they do. You're people pleasing because you're thinking this is the best way to build relationships. No, that's the wrong way to build relationships. That's not the proper way to build relationships. You don't people please because you want them to like you. If they can't like you for your personality, what you're bringing to the table, then there's something you got to look at you. I'm not telling you look at them. I'm telling you look at yourself, because you're people pleasing. At times, you don't even know that you're doing it. And when you're people pleasing again, you're just going, I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. I'm a stick in between. Sticking in between is going to get you to results you don't want. You don't want it.
Yes.
And you feel like, hey, am I stabbing my own self in the back? Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
Right. Because there should be no vibrations. One of the things that I do is I just put my hand on my chest. And sometimes that will let you know what your state of mind is. So I'm just going to just say that to the listeners. Put your hand on your chest. If your heartbeat is rapid, then that means that there's something going on. And I talked to my niece now. I said, wait a minute, look in the mirror. I'm trying to intune her with tools that I needed. And that's why I love you. Because right now you see the state of the world. Yourself, you're one. The goal is self-actualization. And I'm glad, April, that you close with that internal assessment.
Yeah. What do we think that people pleasing comes from, though? You know, because everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be validated. Everybody wants to feel wanted. Do you think that people pleasing comes from maybe, you know, maybe seeking out those feelings or seeking out that need of being wanted and being loved and, you know, being cared for?
Yeah. And I don't want to jump in, but I'm a trauma survivor. And basically, yes, as a trauma survivor, and I have been working on this forever. And the whole thing here is that at times when you have contemplated death and ending your life, and I'm just saying is I survived all of that because of the cards that I was dealt. And this platform, as I said to you, is in order for me to heal, I have to shed, right? What do? We pack. We pack and we pack. And then now when you feel like you finally have a voice to speak, people are looking at you like you're an alien. I'll be God's alien, because a lot of times everything that we have in our exposure is written in the Bible. It's just different players, in my opinion. So if you really want to know, the teachings are there. It's just that we're in 2024. So now if you sit there and look and see, everyone, what did they say that I knew that you were going to deny me? Remember, was it? It was there. So in the case, what's the number? There's 6 people here. Somebody's going to deny. Somebody's going to jump on the narrative. And if we can get really deep, and that's why I said we're going to be deep on this couch, right? April, we're going to be deep on this couch. And this is a definite need, you know, and I know I see we have some comments there, but definitely.
Yes, a lot of comments. Yeah, it's a lot of comments. I'm actually to this. I'm going to scroll back up, and I actually going to jump into the comments because there is a lot of comments that I like us to delve into. So I'm going to start with when we were talking about sheltering, right? So one commenter said, as an adult, I've learned and realized for me personally, my sheltering growing up was a direct result of my mother raising me based on her fears and past traumas. Yes, and yes, and yes. What happens is the trauma that your mother went through is an indirect result of you staying in the house. Because it's the fear of, I don't want this happening to my daughter, because if my daughter goes through this, I failed her because I could have prevented it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, what harm comes to her as she growing up? Will she become now traumatized, not indirectly, not dealing with the trauma, but also dealing with it because of being sheltered? Yes. Just like we go through post traumatic slave syndrome, we weren't slaves, but we deal with it today.
And still
Out of
dealing with that.
Yes, every single day we are. So, yes, you are experiencing what your mother experienced, but just in a different way. So, you
Mm-hmm.
may fall back to those triggers of, "Ooh, maybe I'll sit in the house because I'm safer here." And you probably don't
Mhm.
realize you're doing it sometime. And if you're more outgoing, it's because you challenge yourself to say, "I'm not going to do this because I have to break the cycle somewhere." So, if
Correct.
you that cycle, kudos to you, and you keep going and breaking those cycles because we have to do that. Okay, don't diagnose yourself. That's good. That's right. Don't ever
Mhm.
diagnose yourself. You hear even on basic commercials about medical stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to diagnose yourself because you are not the expert in that area. Are you the expert of yourself? Absolutely. However, you still can't diagnose yourself because you have to know what you are dealing with. If you don't know what you're dealing with, don't do it.
Mhm. Right.
The next comment was, yes, I'm learning to give myself grace. That is good. Continue to learn how to give
Mhm.
yourself grace. Do you understand the word grace? Because that's what it starts with. How do you define it, and how it's defined, clinically, how it's defined in the dictionary? Because you may have to see what the
Mhm.
definition is to know how to actually do it.
Mhm.
Okay. It's hurtful when it's a surface friendship. You don't know you're in that type of friendship until you pay attention to the signs. What once felt to be good energy becomes mean. Okay, girls,
Mhm.
let's stop
Oh
here.
yeah. Mhm.
Because this is where we're
Mhm.
at the surface friendships. So, what do you hear this person saying, this follower of ours?
being
What do
being
you think?
being aware of
Mm-hmm.
signs and
Yeah.
warning signs and triggers and all types of things we go through in our relationships. Because
Yep.
relationships go up and down. They have different
Mhm.
seasons. And know when to call it quits and know when that relationship no longer serves you.
And one
Yes,
of the
Rajan.
biggest things that I've
Call it
noticed
quits.
now that I was in denial about. Have you ever been somewhere and if someone takes a lot of pictures, right? And it's just that
Mhm.
for me, I had to have someone bring it to my attention. It's like, oh, there's pictures, but then certain pictures don't get posted. And I was like, wow. And I never looked at it like that because I'm just not mean spirited. But that was something that someone said to me to be aware of. Watch who speaks
Mhm.
to you in certain companies because sometimes that means they must talk about you behind your back because this is a facade. And it hurt me.
Mm.
And I
Mhm.
said, I don't want to be a people pleaser, but you know what? I really have to start paying attention. And as I started taking my own statistics of that, then I said, okay, this is something that I wasn't paying attention to. Being sheltered,
Mhm.
all I know is that if I didn't mess with anybody, I keep my distance. I'm not a phony person. But now,
Yeah.
what we are in as adults at work, we have to put on a facade for our bosses and things because they pay the check. But when it comes to my free life, why would you do that in your free life? Because if you really don't like someone, leave them alone. That's how I
Mhm.
feel. But you know what? Our grand architect will take care of that. So now there's
Mhm.
no vengeance that I need to do. All I know is that if I genuinely speak to you, I care for you, that I feel that there is something there. And if I
Mm-hmm.
don't like you, I keep my distance. So that's the scary part for me that we have folks walking around who really don't like people, but put on this facade. That's the scary thing. And they say we have to be careful with that.
Mhm. Well, that's the antisocial person that you're talking about. That's antisocial. They don't like people. They don't really do. They really don't like people. At times, they don't even like themselves because they don't understand who they are. So all they know is, I'm going to move through these spaces, but in the
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, they're hurting people at the same time because they're doing these things that they shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
Another comment I'm going to turn to is, I would rather be the right opposition than be the wrong friend. Yeah, exactly. Why not? Yeah. Exactly. I agree with that too. You need people that you know that's going to be one in your corner,
Absolutely.
be there for you because they want to be there for you, not be there for you because they don't like you, and then you
Absolutely.
feel it and you see it and they talk about you behind your back. But then when you know that this person is the wrong friend, like you said, Rajanta, drop them, find someplace else to go, or find new people that you want to be around. You don't want to be around people that's going to hurt you because they're hurting. So that you don't need in your life. And can I ask this? Is it okay to tell these people that you may not want in your life that this is not for you? This friendship is not for you. Do you feel you can say it? Or is that
I
hard for
think
you
it
all?
depends on what type of friend that it was, what type of relationship it was,
Yeah.
whether or not you can be totally transparent, right? Because
Yes.
sometimes they may want to pull you back in and reel you back in, like, oh no, it wasn't like that, right? It wasn't like that. That's not what I meant, So it
Mhm.
all depends. It all depends.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
it is who
apologize
is
for that.
sensitive.
I
Yeah, it's
apologize.
okay.
I went out, but I wanted to be outside because I have to be my dog. She wants to see the fresh air, and I'm gonna be gone today, so I apologize for that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no problem. You don't have to apologize. So yeah, the transparency, I agree with that. You have to be more transparent, and for you to have that conversation, to have an adult conversation, with that person. And truly, there are times too when we talk about the wrong friend, as our commenter said, we could be dealing with somebody who hasn't grown up yet. They just happen to be in an adult body, but they haven't grown up yet. And the people that don't grow up to me are the ones that have the arms crossed all the time, stomping their feet, how they react, because they reacted like kids. And I'm saying this because Rajanta smiling too. Both of y'all are, because you've seen this before, but I'm giving you now the visual. These people who just sit here all day long like this for no reason.
Yeah. Why come? Why come to?
Flash
Yeah. I don't
and doing all
understand
of
that
this,
part.
all these extra things. I'm sorry. You just got here. I don't understand what's happening. If that is the case, go to your sandbox and just, like pour your sandbox out, or be like Lucy and take the ball from Linus like she always did when Charlie Brown would run and she would take the ball and then he'll fall, because Lucy was mean. Okay,
She
that
was
was
the
a
Debbie
mean little
Downer of the
girl.
group. The Debbie Downer of the
Yes,
group.
she was. So she was.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. Was Lucy? Yeah, it was Lucy. I think that was her name. She was very mean, spirited to the other kids. But you're gonna run into that. But they were children. But why is it as the adult you still have these ways? It's because whatever you went through in your life, you didn't allow yourself to grow up, to
Right.
heal from that pain, so you can grow up. So now, as the adult, everybody is dealing with your attitude. Everyone. Now, Shell had to jump off, but she did have a comment. She had two comments in the in our comment. She said, "What does it say about that person?" She's talking about the surface person. What does that say about them? And the person that always want to be the people pleaser too. What does that say about them?
That they
Really?
don't
What
know
does that
themselves. They don't know their power.
right?
And that's what I had to look
Right.
at. Hey, I'm on the couch. I can get on the couch, because you have to think the stuff that we hear, working with folks who are murderers, sex offenders, and everything. That's why I have a flat affect. I said, but I can't disclose what I've heard, but I'm a mental health professional for 24 years, and you ladies know. So sometimes when
Mm-hmm.
we're unbothered, is because I used to carry that stuff home. I remember the first person that had an overdose. And I remember telling my boss, I said, I'm at my job full time. I'm doing this. I'm freelancing. I said, I can't get here. I gave you appropriate notice, and I carried it because the guy, he hung himself. And I carried that. I said, but it wasn't my fault. I said, but you know what? She was trying to bully me to get there. I could have took the phone call. I had no
Mm-hmm.
coverage. I should have been able to call, block the number, and speak to the person. But you said, I don't need your services. So I said, right now, that's not someone that I want to work for, because that's a dictatorship. And I know
Mm-hmm.
now, and it took therapy for me to know that was not my fault that this person died.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
understand? So then that was part of
Yeah.
my people pleasing, not knowing that was earlier in my career. And I took that and I didn't process it well.
So people pleasing, another comment was people pleasing, I think. So do we think people pleasing is from bullying? That was from one of our commenters said that. What do you ladies think?
It can be.
I would say I know I got bullied, and the first time I got hit in the face, and I hate to say this on there, was in 4th grade. Boy, guy punched me in my face. He said my mama, and I picked up the yardstick and hit him. So you understand, my first time being hit. So that was a bullying situation over him saying that he knew my mother died. That's not nice.
But did you become a people pleaser after that though?
Somewhat. As I sit back, yes, as I sent back, because at that point, and that's where I opened up the domestic violence, because I didn't want to get hit. But then I started fighting.
Okay.
But then I had to learn to refrain, because remember we talked about everything that I built. Sometimes I got to pray, Lord, help me, Jesus, because I'm not going to do that. And that's going to mean that I am not who I say I am. So I will keep it. You know what I mean? So that's where it comes to being an adult and understanding reactions are sent to throw you off your game. You respond. You understand? So I'm a victim of bullying, but God did a lot for me. And I'm not going to go into that. It's a whole nother topic. We can keep the viewers coming in with a part 2 or 3 or whatever we need.
People pleasing, I think, is from bullying. So Rajanta, you was about to say something too. Do you agree with that? People pleasing?
Everybody's journey is different. Everybody handles things different, and different show up in us in different ways. So I mean, I think it could be. It could be.
True. Because it could be that underlying fear.
Out of us 3, I say yes. And what about you 2?
It could be. It
could be.
Everybody's different. Everybody's circumstances are different. So
right. And being bullied by a person, I don't know what that experience is truly like, right? Because anyone who tried that, I'm the person that will come back at you, that I'm not gonna stand for that, because each one of us, even as children, have a sense of power. But sometimes you don't know that until you are shown that you don't have to take something from someone else. Right. So for me, I know I wouldn't have taken that. And then people pleasing, I also think too, a part of your environment, how you grow up. This is back to what Rashanta is saying too, how you grow up. Who grooms you to tell you no, that's not what we do. It's a multitude of things. So when you think about pleasing, how did you get there? Sometimes you are prepped the right way, but all of a sudden you fall off of that and become the people pleaser, and that is not always the right way to go, because again, you're opening yourself up. You're being too vulnerable. You're opening yourself up for many things that people will do. And I'm going to use one word, use.
Yes.
Because they are there to manipulate at that point, because they know that you're a people pleaser. See, it's the manipulator, and that's the surface friend. So I'm labeling it to where it goes to. So you're not thinking it's all your friends. It is the one that is there manipulating, pretending that they want to be your friend. They're pretenders. And those are people that you have to watch out for, that are imposters. But guess what? They're imposters to themselves. So why not be imposters to you? So it is you that have to recognize who you're talking about or who you're looking at. So you just have to be careful. That's the vetting both of you were talking about. So it's you now becoming more sharper as the adult. Who am I dealing with? Why am I tolerating this? What's happening here? And let me give myself some grace to say, this is not for me. So if I fall back and cut off the relationship, it goes back to what Rajanta said too. You cut off the relationship, good for you. You should, as you should, because it's going to get worse. Because again, it's the using that's happening. The using and the manipulation is all taking place in that one little circle with you and that person. And it becomes crazy.
And what the key thing here is that you value that friendship or relationship more than they did. That's what I had to come to grips with. The whole point is, I'm just going to say my cycle. I see a comment after that, after we can go and hit it. Pretty much you get bullied, which here mine was physical. So from there, you don't know. You look at the moving around. Then from there, where do I fit in? Then it becomes, oh, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to fight. So that was that next stage. Then the adult stage came. Then the education. I'm sitting in a psychology class. Like, ooh, I'm not trying to self-diagnose myself. And that's maybe why I have a minor in psych, because now we opened that. Now I'm in the field. So I feel that as a survivor of all of that, how can we help folks? And this platform is what it is. And now, if you can see that comment, I know you see it at 11:54. That kind of segues into what I said.
Yeah.
My confirmation. Thank you, my sister. You see it?
I do. I'm going to go over that comment. I'm going to go over the next one too, the other two above that. So the other two says it comes from the inability to be willing to stand on an island by yourself and stand firm in your conviction. That's correct. People pleasing. Again, if you're a people pleaser, please recognize this in yourself. It is not a fault of your own. It is something that you're doing, and sometimes it's subconscious and it comes up to the conscious, because, and what I mean by conscious is the behavior that you're doing. So just understand that if you're not standing in your own ability to be on the island on your own, know that you're more willing to be the people pleaser because you are not trying to make waves with anyone. The next comment is you can be a friend to many, but two things I've learned. My peace means more to me. Amen.
Yes.
I
Amen.
learned that also. So to the OTC follower who made that statement, I have learned that over the years too, that my peace means more to me than anything.
Yeah.
You two ladies, I know that, you know, that means a lot to you because we always talk about that many times about who we are and where we stand and how we take care of ourselves. So yes, we agree with you 100%. And to the comment of I was bullied and became a people pleaser, I think it came from me not wanting anyone to feel the hurt I went through. I no longer people please because I learned in time I can't change who people are to others, but I can stand strong in who I am and hope people can feel my energy, my positivity.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. That's all. That's great. That's true. So I still challenge you to also dig deep when it comes to that, because you've already done it and you know what it looks like. And sometimes you inadvertently can go back there depending on who you're dealing with. All right. So if you're around people that are very strong with their, I'm gonna come up on this person, even as the adult, you may fall back real quick and say, oh, I don't want to make waves. No. Stand in your own conviction as you're stating. So you got to still be careful, because if you're practiced, you've been in it, and that's for any,
Use your
you're not
word.
you're not wrong. It's just that you've been in it. And just like someone that's been traumatized, you can regress. Okay. You can go back to how you felt because it's a trigger. So once it triggers you, understand your trigger and then stand in your own right, because that way you know you actually made it. Because you're gonna see these people, they're gonna come over and over in your life, and then
Yeah.
you got to know when to say, oh no, I'm gonna make waves with you. I'm not sure who you rolled up on, but I'm gonna make waves with you right now. You know, so remember what I'm saying to you, because we all go back there because it's just a trigger. That's it. One thing can send you back. All
It's
right.
how you
So
respond
remember
to
that I'm saying it.
how you respond. I'm telling you now, that is my golden thread, to respond
Yes.
and not react. And a lot of times that you can just use your mouth. And my thing here is, let's talk about it. Now, if you want to get in the rain, we can get in the rain. But by then, you sit and talk. And a lot of
Yeah.
times that I notice is that when a person doesn't want to talk, that means they don't care to resolve and have a solution. That's just
Right.
my experience. I'm not sure about anyone else. But remain a lady and respond.
Right.
And know that what
Right.
you are not that person. Because, you know, they say that we women, we're crazy, we're emotional and all that. No, I'm not going to give you that satisfaction, because I know who I am. And I don't mind being in my cubby hole by myself. Peacefully over here.
Cool. Yes. So I know this topic was very heavy. What's the purpose of a friend? So you, and this is going to be my takeaway, and then I'm going to ask you both for your takeaway for those that are listening to us and those that will be listening to us later on. When you are thinking about the purpose of a friend, think about you first. What type of friend am I going to be? Start with you. See, what people tend to do is start with the other person. No, no, no. It takes two to be in a relationship or multiple relationships. Start with yourself and figure out what type of friend am I going to be. Then once you know who you're going to be and who you're going to present out into the world to get the friendships, then you hopefully you start getting those that are gravitating to you that are like-minded like you. Everyone has different opinions, but and everyone comes from a different background. Everyone is different, but there are commonalities that you can have which brings you closer together, and that's when you start building. When you start building, you will go through those phases that I talked about early on in this, on this platform. I didn't know all of those stages myself. I only focus on, okay, you got acquaintances, you have best friends, you have intimate relationship. I look at those. But yes, we do start as strangers first. So in that stranger window, start looking at behaviors. How do I interact with this person? Do I find myself becoming very upset when this person is talking to me? Well, why are you still with the person then? Note that. Note that even on an intimate level too. If this man or relationship you're in, if they make you upset all the time, why are you in there? Ask yourself, why am I there? Because this person is, or maybe I'm agitating the person. So when I come around, all of a sudden they get upset. Why am I in this relationship? Ask yourself that as you go along. Note that there are manipulators in life. This is all they've ever done in their life. They manipulate, they get past, they use you, and this is what they do. Please recognize those persons because they display the same behavior all the time. It's a chronic behavior that they show. Pay attention to those. You, if you are the person that been bullied and you are the people pleaser, or not bullied but became a people pleaser, those of you that are healing or have healed from people pleasing, just remember and recognize triggers. If you're triggered by something that has happened before, you will go back to that place of not making waves. But it's okay for you to make a wave. It just depends on who you're talking to. So just remember those things when we think about friendships. No friendship is perfect. I too am still learning how to build a lot of friendships as an adult woman. I didn't say child, adult woman. It's a difference. So you have differences between children, adolescents, and adults. Yeah. So know that I'm still learning myself. So that is my ending takeaway for everyone. And go on to the next person, Rajanta.
I want to say definitely know your worth, because when you learn your worth, you know that you are worthy of great things. You know that you are worthy of great relationships, right? And you know what things that you will and will not accept in relationships. So it's very important to that. I also want to really commend everybody on the good journey they're doing in their wellness, way to wellness. Happy Mental Health Month. Just know and recognize who you are. Just know that you're worthy of greatness, great things, and great relationships.
And my takeaway is protect your peace and understand it. Sometimes pray and look for calmness and support, and know that sometimes you may regress and go back. And as Dr. April said, it's okay, but know what your triggers are. Write those down so that when you're faced with that, it's okay if you have to start all over again. And just know that you are worthy. You are loved. And when you look in the mirror, be happy with what you see.
Amen to that. And for our last commenter, I'm going to read this comment before we end for the day. You just can't allow people to misuse you. A lot of people want to be your friend but it to be beneficial to them or benefit them. Don't allow them to use you to level up. Determine the friendship level. Yes, determine your friendship level. Don't allow those to misuse you, mistreat you, any one of those, because even within that relationship, you could lose yourself. And that again goes back to, did I get triggered? Did I bounce backwards? So think about those things as you're moving forward. But what I will say is this was an awesome topic. And I thank our person on one of our OTC followers that gave us this conversation to talk about, because these are places that we need to go to talk about the hard things people don't want to talk about. And friendships and being in friendships are one of those discussions to have. And as Black women, Hispanic women, white women, all of us, Asian, we have to know who we're dealing with in life, period. Because if we don't know, we're going to run into the people that we really don't want in our life. And then when we bring them in, we have a difficulty of letting them go. If people are in your life for a season, let them come into your life for a season and then let them go. If you're in their life for a season, don't take it as a slight. You're only there for a season, and just understand it and know that you were there for a purpose in their life and you have to go now, and understand that. And that's how it is. You know, you're not always going to be there with those people. You can love them from a distance, just like a family member. You can love them from a distance and care for them and say, I do you no harm, or I wish you no harm. And guess what? Keep going with your life, because it's just you. When you didn't come into this world with a twin, it's just you. Keep going through life because it's you. You got to keep going, and you're going to run into adversities, and you can still keep going. You can get knocked down and you keep going.
Absolutely.
So this is what we're hoping that you do. And for your healing, as Rajanta said, as you're healing, as Toya said too, your healing and your peace, be mindful of those. But we thank you for joining us on the couch today. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you again to our commenter for joining us on the couch, giving us this topic, and we appreciate you. So have a good week coming up. Remember your healing. Remember to take care of you, and always think about your peace and then the love for yourself and your tranquility. We thank you for joining us today on the couch. Don't forget to like us on YouTube and look for the notification when we go live. So we thank you again, and you all have a wonderful day. The rest of it, stay safe and keep your peace. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for joining on the couch this evening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to contact Dr. Diamond, you may reach her at candidconversations.dr.d@gmail.com. Have a great evening, and we will see you on the next show.